Clytus, I'm bored. What plaything can you offer me today?
An obscure body in the SK system, Your Majesty. The inhabitants refer to it as the planet Earth.
I like to play with things a while before annihilation. Pathetic Earthlings! Who can save you now?
I thought it was perfection. I think De Laurentiis' Flash Gordon is perfect because it's just total comic strip.
The man behind the Flash movie was Dino De Laurentiis, one of Italy's most infamous film producers.
De Laurentiis had already made Barbarella, which is the other big, sexy space cartoon. I mean, in many ways, Barbarella is the 1960s Flash Gordon.
I got him.
I think what I like about both the films is, another thing I like about both the films, is not just the kind of campness and all that, but there's actually a really scary edge to both of them.
In the deadly dollhouse.
He really just loved trash. He loved big, flashy trash, and he liked making money from it, with pretense that he was making something cultural.
He's a guy that's been involved with greats like, Knights of Cabiria, Serpico, interesting movies like Manhunter, but for every Knights of Cabiria, he goes, whoa, here's a Conan the Destroyer.
The man they call Conan.
A very creatively extravagant man, and I think that comes to the fore with Flash Gordon.
Go, Flash, go!
When you look at, say, the extravagant costumes in Barbarella.
Hello, pretty. Open fire!
There's a very definite echo in Flash Gordon of that.
The wonderful thing about Flash, and his outfits reflect this, is that he is very human. He's the best of human physicality, fighting the space horde. So we really have to see what his body looks like. And also, it's pretty.
The line between camp and, cool is quite blurred, It takes a strong man to wear lycra and spandex and look good.
It's a kid's film, but it's got an enormous number of whips and boots and chains and thongs in it.
Well, I certainly think the film had a degree of sadomasochism in it.
Oh dear, how pathetic.
There is something about the art of dressing up.
Leather is very comfortable to wear. And in the winter it's warm, and in the summer it's quite cool.
I particularly remember Ornella Muti, who was the daughter of Ming. And she certainly set my pulse race.
It's extremely sensitive, like me.
If it had been made at Elstree Studios, they'd have probably called it Carry On Gordon.
Although not as successful upon release as anticipated, Flash Gordon the movie has become a much-loved and iconic landmark of modern science fiction that still thrills audiences today.
I am now of age, Screenfather.
By default, I've become a fan, and when my little bit comes up, everybody screams and yelps and things.
Peter Duncan!
Peter Duncan from Blue Peter! When you're an actor and you do a quick week's work, way back in the sort of late 70s, you never really know it's going to keep coming up 30 years later.
Choose your passage into this world or the next.
All he has to do is fist some wooden anuses. And then, of course, gets bitten by what looks like a hemorrhoid.
This is the actual original stunt monster that was in the film that killed me and nearly killed Flash. As you can see, after 30 years, it's somewhat deteriorated. It's got all the workings inside there. It was a very tense set, I remember, and I soon realised that if I could act the sticking the hand in the hole reasonably well, I might get a longer close-up, which I think was, has reaped its rewards over the years.
Squadron 40!
Die! I don't care what anyone says. Brian Blessed's finest hour is in Flash Gordon.
Brian Blessed as Prince Fulton is just so over the top. It's frightening.
Brian, of course, was in an episode of Blake 7, so I knew him quite well.
I am the supreme power here. My word is law.
His performance in Flash Gordon was, how shall I put it, overwhelming, yes. Not unusual for him.
The original Voltron had a great grizzly bear followed him around. I wanted to have a grizzly bear, and Laurentis wouldn't buy that. Can I have a grizzly bear? No, no, kid, he's too dangerous. He's much too dangerous.
Everyone else has got guns, and for some reason, he's got a golf club.
To show how powerful you are, he's walking along and just going thump, thump, going boing.
He's just whacking people. You can imagine the director just sort of going, yeah, Brian, you just have a good time.
When he says, Gordon's alive! Piece of genius.
With such a high-cam space opera, there was only one rock group on the planet who could create the soundtrack. Queen.
The Queen soundtrack is probably one of the best aspects of the film.
Freddie was intensely proud of the music they'd done.
I thought Queen's music is beatific.
And of course, they did get a BAFTA nomination.
As soon as you hear that dun 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 dun, dun you kind of go, ooh, it really bites you. Dun 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 dun. Flash! Emma!
He'll save every one of us.
Flash, Flash, I love you. Remember, 40 hours to save you.
How many dits are there?
Dum, 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 can go on forever. Dum, 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 dum.
Activate rocket jet Ajax.
Gordon's alive!
He saved every one of us.
And it's really nice. He saves every one of us.
What are the bits that they shout out in that song?
Well, that sounds like plenty to me.
Okay.
Flash Gordon has never been slow to adapt to change and to face new challenges. In part 4, we will reveal a rarely seen Flash Gordon.